I want to thank everybody for coming today. I'm supposed to give a presentation on something that I know how to do well. And I know that it used to frustrate me to not be able to set up my own fishing pole to go fishing. I always had to have somebody with me that could do it for me. Therefore, I want to teach you how to do it, especially you ladies, so that you can go fishing without having someone there to set you up. So this is a brand new fishing pole that I bought at Academy, and I want to start from scratch here to show you how to do it. The first thing that we're going to do, it has this little tab on here to prevent your line from going inside the pole, okay? It won't come out by itself. See how it's locked? The first thing you have to do is push that button right there. That releases your line, okay? Now it has this tab that keeps it from going inside. You don't really want to take that off because then your line goes inside and you lose it, and now you've got a big mess, because when you take this cover off to get it, line's going to start going everywhere, okay? So the first thing that we do is we can actually bend that and run it through the eyes. I'm going to actually do a shortcut here, and I'm just going to cut it off so that I don't spend a lot of time.
So do you have the easy button to push your one?
First thing you do is run it through the eyes, straight up, okay? That's got these all the way down your pole. What's important to understand is that your pole is actually two pieces. It looks like one, but it's two. And it comes apart. So where it comes apart, see how I just pulled that out? And I'm going to pull some slack in it, okay? So I don't have to worry about it falling back down. Where it comes apart, you need to make sure that you line up all of these little holes straight, that they're all on top of the pole lined up with your reel. This is the reel, okay? So now that I have some slack, I'm going to go ahead and turn that once. When I turn it, it locks my line again. So now see it doesn't come out. If I push that button again, it's going to start coming out again. Okay? So now I have my pole threaded. Now there's a few things that you're going to need to be able to do this. You can go to Walmart, you can go to the sporting goods store, you can go wherever you want, but I'm here to tell you that you can get most of these supplies for about $1 a piece if you just go to Walmart, okay? The first thing that we're going to need is actually called a swivel, and they come in a little package like this. This is a cheat for fishing. If you want to tie a hook directly on this line, you can do that, all right? But when you put a swivel on, as long as you don't lose this, it doesn't get pulled off if you get caught on some rocks or some seaweed under the water or something, you can alternate out. You can use a hook, you can use a lure, you can use whatever you want, and just open this up, put it on, instead of retying every time, okay? These are also about $1. And this, you can go ahead and zoom in if you need to. This is called a swivel. And it's called a swivel because it actually does swivel, all right? One end has a hook that opens up. That's why it's a cheat. It makes it easier for you in the future, okay? The other end has this real tiny, look, Martin says, I need to see this. This swivel on the other end has a real tiny little hole, a little loop, okay? And that is what we're going to tie to our line. Can you hold that for a second? Okay. So the first thing we do is run this through. The biggest mistake that I made when I first tried to do this was I ran it through one time and then tied a little knot and thought I was done. First time I caught even just a little bitty perch, it pulled the swivel, the hook, everything right off of the line. You can't just tie a basic little knot, okay? There's a trick to this. So I ran the line through the swivel one time, okay? I am actually going to run it through 3 times because that gives it strength, right? There's strength in numbers. So if I run it through 3 times now, it's really strong, okay? So I've run it through that little eye 3 times. Now I'm going to grab it up here and I'm going to twist 3 times. I'm just twisting the loose end around the line, okay? Now, I'm gonna stick it back through, maybe. I'm gonna stick it back through those two wires. And then I'm gonna pull.
Like a hole?
Yep. And now I have got a very strong knot, okay? This line, this is just a cheap, basic fishing pole. Your string can actually be in different weights, okay? This is a 10-pound test line. What that means is it can hold a fish up to 10 pounds. So if you're catching a 15 or 20-pound monster, this is probably gonna break. Anything less than 10 pounds, you should be just fine. This swivel is not gonna come off. Okay, you can be very confident in that. It's not gonna come off. If you want, if you have too much excess string here or line, you can cut it shorter. And now we have our swivel. The rest is a piece of cake. On the end of this swivel, it has a little hook, almost like a little safety pin. And I just undid that. Can y'all see that? Just undid that. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna put a weight on here. Because if you have no weight on this, you're gonna have a really hard time even throwing it out into the water. It's not gonna go.
That's
Okay?
the thing that floats, right?
No. So what we do, the weight is what makes it sink. Because it weighs something, okay? This is a typical weight. You can get different kinds that actually connect to the line. I got the kind that hooks right to my swivel. Look how easy this is. My swivel's open, and there's my weight. Pretty easy, right? Now, the other thing we need, obviously, is a hook. Also $1, also a cheat, okay? These hooks have a line already on them.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, how about that? So I don't have to worry about tying a hook to my fishing line, okay? I'm gonna pull one hook out, and it's already on a line with a nice little tight knot and a little loop right there on the top. Guess where that loop goes? Right on the swivel. Bam.
Awesome.
How cool is that? So, now we have our weight and we have our hook. There's only two things missing.
The thing that floats.
One is the thing that floats, the bobber, okay? This is a bobber. It has hooks on the top and it has a hook on the bottom, okay? I'm gonna tell you the easiest way to do this. We usually try easiest first, which means the bottom because it's real open and easy to see. I'm gonna suggest you start with the top. It's a little harder to hook on your line, okay? So what you do is put your finger on the bottom of this bobber and then push the top down. Now you see the little hook sticking out? And I'm gonna hook that, maybe, onto my line. Okay, see how that's hooked? That's not the end though. If you throw it in the water like this, it's just gonna flop sideways, okay? Now we have to hook the bottom, and that's real easy. Just bam, it's done. And now your bobber's on. That's what floats. Now, question would be how high up or how far down do I put it? Depends how deep your water is, all right? If it's deep water, you can push the top of this in and you can slide it up. And now you have more line going into the water, okay? Now remember, thank you for holding that. Remember that our line is locked, right?
Mhm.
So when we cast the pole, you have to hold this button in. And when I'm holding it in, it doesn't just drop. See, it's still locked. I'm gonna pull it back, and then when I throw it, as I throw it, I'm gonna let go of the button. See how it dropped? Now it's loose. You're gonna throw it in the water. If your bobber is laying sideways, we've got it set for water that's deep, and the water's not that deep. So we're gonna need to reel it back in. When you reel it one time, it locks it again, see? Now it doesn't come out anymore. So what you would do is reel it back in, and then you go back, and we're gonna actually move the bobber down a little bit for water that's not as deep. Now if you throw it back in, your bobber should float in water looking just like that, straight up and down, okay? That that means that your hook is not set too deep for the water, all right? Now, how are you gonna know you have a fish? You're gonna see this bobber start pulling, or bouncing around in the water, all right? You can use whatever you want for bait. I personally don't like to touch worms or minnows or all that neat stuff. I use hot dog and I use bread. Hot dog and bread will catch you catfish, it will catch you bass, it will catch you perch, and it's very clean and I don't mind touching it. It's also very cheap. You get a package of hot dogs or a package of bread for $1.
And if you don't catch nothing, you can have that for
And
lunch.
if
I
you
have a
don't catch
question
nothing,
about that.
you can catch the rest, okay? So I really appreciate you, sitting in on my presentation. I hope that you understand how to set your own pole. And if you have any additional questions, I'll be happy to talk to you after the presentation.